Hi everyone, I welcome you all to week 3 of Project Asari's 15-week program, and today is going to be the first class on knowledge building, and today we're going to discuss about the problems around the world. So before I begin with today's session, I need you all to answer this question. Imagine that you have all the power in the world for one day to change one thing about the world today. What do you think it would be? I would really appreciate volunteerism here. So, any one of you who wants to answer this question can answer. It can be a one liner, two liner, whatever you want to say about whatever problem. Anybody can answer this question, it's not that difficult.
I would try to implement delay-free healthcare and education around the world.
All right, healthcare and education, that's a great start. Asmi or Rubani, any one of you wants to answer?
I'd have the power to time travel so I can help the past, then that would implement on the future.
That's interesting. But this is more of a personal choice that you would want to do. However, I really want you to think of a problem around the world you would want to fix. Otherwise, I will take that answer and discuss it later. But what is a problem that you would want to change? I'll give you a minute
I
to
will
think
definitely,
and
I
ask
will
me can speak.
definitely like,
Yeah.
yeah, I will definitely like to change the problem of climate change and pollution in our world because it's affecting each and every part of the continent.
All right. So you would want to like reverse climate change. All right. Rubani, do you have any idea of a problem you would want to change?
I'd like to change pollution.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of pollution, but I don't know exactly how.
Mm-hmm. Of
Maybe
course.
reduce the cutting of trees.
Mm-hmm. All right. Sure. I'll take that answer. Okay, so I think we have really interesting answers from everybody. Abir said that he would like to change, he would like to implement free healthcare and improve education among students and among students. Asmi said that she would like to change or reverse pollution or climate change because it is affecting everybody. And Rubani says that she would again like to focus on pollution and she would like to do that by preventing the cutting of trees. Now, all of these answers are really amazing, and I'm genuinely impressed by the kind of problems that you would want to change because that is very true. These are the problems that are affecting everybody around the world, and these are the problems that are consistent with everybody, you and me, to the people of the world, to the people in your house, to the people in your country, the people around the world. Hence, it's extremely important that we are aware of these problems, and then further we're cognizant about the kind of things that we can do so that we can reverse these problems and use those solutions up to our best of our capabilities. And that is exactly what we're going to learn about it in this session. And Rubani's question is something that has really stayed with me because she said that I really don't know how I can reverse pollution, but I would definitely like to do that. So yes, this is a question that again will be tackled in this particular week, and I will tell you as to how you can use this program, the skills that public speaking will give you, to implement the kind of change you really want to see. So, before I begin with everything, this is just a formality that I would want to do to introduce you to a basic definition of what a problem is. So, a problem is a gap between how things are and how they should be. For example, if you want to implement free healthcare, then things in present are that healthcare is extremely expensive for people and it adds a lot of burden to their pockets, and how they should be that it should be completely free or it should become more affordable for people. For example, if you want to stand up against pollution, you are saying that things right now are really bad because pollution is affecting not only our health but the health of plants and animals, etc. And how this should be, there should be a pollution free world so that all living organisms can live freely. So this is what a problem looks like. I don't think there's anything difficult to understand, so just give me a quick thumbs up. thumbs up using using the feature on your Google Meet. Yeah, perfect. Also, I've just given these four basic examples here. I think you all have a pretty good idea as to what a problem is. So I'm not going to waste time reading these problems. You can just take a quick look at these. Anyways, now, why should we care if there is a problem that exists? Now, I need you all to again think for a minute, not even a minute is a lot. I need you all to think for like a few seconds and just try to answer why should we even care. I mean, as students, as human beings of this earth, why should we even care if a problem exists, say, kilometers away from us? Why do you think we should care? Anybody can answer this. um
Um,
yeah, sure, you can answer us.
So that basically we are living in a social world, and even though that right now that problem won't affect us, but at some point of time it is going to affect us, and we should care for other people. To have sympathy and empathy is a human. It's a human thing, right? So it's our. Even though it's not our problem, it can be in some period of time.
Yeah, of course, definitely. That's a pretty good answer. Abir?
The problems that arise in our world can one day affect us also in a way.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why. Like pollution, we can get ill because of pollution, more diseases, and climate change. The global temperature will increase. More people will die
Yeah.
who don't have the facilities to, don't have the shelter.
Yes.
So that's why we should care.
Yeah, definitely. All of your answers are extremely true that yes, all of the problems do affect us, or if they're not affecting us at the present moment, they are bound to affect us somewhere in the future, because we all are participants of all the activities that are happening around the world. So if a certain problem arises in one country, you and me are bound to be affected by it. For example, take the example or within your families. God forbid, if there's a particular problem that a particular family member in your family faces, that literally changes the entire family in its entirety, because all the family members get worried. All the family members are always on their toes to help that particular person, because they want that that person becomes healthy again, that person is able to um, able to just live in a normal human capacity, right? Again, this is the same with the world as well. If there's a particular problem in some part of the world, that is going to affect you, no matter if it is no, it doesn't matter if it didn't affect you in the past, or it is not even affecting you in the present. It is bound to affect you in the future, because we are living in an increasingly small world. Everything is becoming extremely connected, because there are so many countries around the world who trade with each other. People are traveling across borders, businesses are operating globally, and information spreads so fast through the means of internet, etc., right? And this means that when one problem arises in one place, it is bound to travel beyond the geographical boundaries of that place, right? I mean, think about the pandemic. We all are pandemic kids, right? We've experienced pandemic, we've experienced as students so many wars around us. Those living in Amritsar have also experienced the rough patch between India and Pakistan last year in May. I hope you remember what that period was. There used to be a blackout for like a week, and we all used to just stay in our houses, etc. So you see, a problem in a certain part of the country, certain part of the world, is going to affect you. So I need you all to understand that the important lesson here is that we all live in a very connected world, and problems do not stay inside your country's borders or even your state's borders. And there is a reason, there's big reason that we should care. So imagine you're doing well in your life, you have food, education, and all the opportunities that there are. So should we do you think it is ethical to ignore the people who do not have the kind of opportunities like you do? Of course it is not, because that is the biggest problem of our world. I think inequality in general is the biggest problem in our world, because people and especially students like us, we need to understand that even though we have all the things around us, even though we have everything, we have to be empathetic enough to care about people who don't have the kind of things that we do, right? Because see, there are two particular reasons, and I think you should really be able to comprehend them, maybe even write in your notes if you're making any. There's a practical reason to this question, and then there's a human reason to this question. Practical reason is that because problems can eventually affect everybody, it is very essential that you should care about these problems, because as humans, as individuals, we are bound to take care of ourselves, whether it is out of greed or whatever, but still we have to deal with those problems. And a human reason is that every person deserves to live with dignity and opportunity and a chance to live a good life, and hence it is extremely important that we care, especially as students, especially students who are living in a world where there's so much problems going on already, right? Now that I've come to the end of this slide, is there anybody who has a problem with this question or wants to ask anything? Okay, looks like nobody wants to ask anything. So there's one student who joined in between. So Vivan, we were just discussing as to why should we care about the problems around the world. So you can see the recording that I'll send later. I'll continue with the session. Now in this slide, there are four major problems that I've taken, and we'll be discussing them for just one minute. Again, these problems are not that difficult. They're very easy to understand. You all know about these problems, but before I begin with my explanation, I need you all to try to identify these problems. What do you think the first problem can be? Can read the headline, anything, and just tell me what the first problem could be. In fact, there are two problems. Yes, Hasmi.
Well, a problem can be like, so there's a populous country like ours, people do not get their own share of resources or basic essentials that they do have, even from the government. Like, as such a case in Bangalore, there has been a lot of a water crisis, and even the government wasn't able to supply enough money, because the things in our country is so that those who are near to natural resources, they get those, but those who are farther from them, like people in Rajasthan or those which are very populous cities or villages, they do not get enough resources and basic essentials as they have.
All right, I think that was a pretty comprehensive answer. I really appreciate it. I think there was just one particular keyword here that I was looking for. Otherwise, I think Asmi gave a really good explanation as to how this headline can be used for another problem. But is there anybody else who wants to try something else? Otherwise, I'll give an answer as well. Okay, looks like I don't see any hands here. Okay, that's not an issue at all. So you see, what Asmi explained us was how resources are not distributed equally in different parts of our country, and that is really true. You know why is that so? It is this unequal distribution of resources that leads to this particular, oh so sorry, yeah, that leads to this particular problem that we see over here, that is extreme poverty. And this is, okay, wait just a second. Yes. So, as Asmi said, this unequal distribution of resources and extreme population, you can see populous countries, and as Asmi added, unequal distribution of sources leads to extreme poverty. So the simple answer over here was that this problem reflects poverty, and poverty in general does not mean having enough resources to meet basic needs such as food or clean water, shelter, etc. Because many people assume that poverty exists because people do not work hard enough. However, in reality, poverty is caused by a lot of other factors which are outside an individual's control. And I think Asmi did a pretty good job giving us some of those factors. For example, lack of opportunities, poor education, unequal distribution of resources. And I again think this was not something too difficult to understand. If you want to gain more knowledge as to what poverty actually means and how it actually looks like, I really recommend you all to go to Google, read articles by the UN, etc., or other news channels. I'll also send you a list of reading that you can do. But I hope you've understood this first problem. Give me a thumbs up. Perfect. Then we have exploring ways to support teachers and teaching systems in crisis. A common but unfortunate consequence of a nation under severe stress is its neglect of education system. And I think this is so important. And I personally am a big believer of I mean, personally, I really care about education a lot because I genuinely believe education and just literacy in general can help change a person so much. I mean, that is the biggest reason why I started Project Usari in the first place, because I really wanted to introduce students like yourselves to a civic and economic literacy curriculum so that you are made aware of the basic problems around the world, about the basic necessities that you need to care about around the world, so that you can play your part in the world by speaking about these problems, by just becoming aware about these problems. Because as students, the least we can do is be aware of the problems around us. All right. Now, education is, again, as I said, one of the most powerful tools for improving lives, yet millions of students around the world still do not get it. So, because many cannot afford school, others live in areas which are affected by a lot of conflict or poverty. And without education, people often have limited opportunities, which again leads to a chain reaction of how people continue to live in poverty, or of how people continue to live within situations where resources are not equally distributed. Again, an easy problem to understand, but still an extremely crucial one to care about. Now, this is an interesting infographic. Does anybody want to try what does this particular cartoon infographic means? Does anybody have any idea?
Can you repeat the word, please?
No, I was just saying that this particular cartoon or infographic is literally just a cartoon. Do you want to try what does this particular picture means? There's a male who's sitting on more money, and then there's a woman who's sitting on less money. What do you think it signifies?
This
I
refers
think
to gender.
Okay, Vivan, sure, you can speak.
I think this the job is equally, but they are not paying equally.
Yes, that is very true. Abir?
This photo specifically refers to uh, the unavailability of equity, because equality is basically when a lot of people get the same opportunities, but equity is backing some specific people, not other people. So this is also gender inequality and lack of equity,
Yes, exactly.
because because both of them, the male and the female, have the same job. The male is earning more, standing at a higher status, standing at a higher position, while the female is struggling.
Yes, that is really true. I saw Rubani raising her hand. Do you want to say anything?
No, no. I just wanted to say exactly the same thing as a beer. So no.
All right, sure. Vivan, you raised your hand again.
I have another answer also.
Sure, you can give it.
The slide seems to be about peoples around the world, different cultures, global communities, or unity diversity.
Mm-hmm. All right. So thank you so much, everybody, for your wonderful answers. I really appreciate how you swiftly observed whatever this was showing, and I really expected. Honestly, I'll be very honest with you. I did expect very basic answers from all of you, but I think you've made my job much easier by giving me really good explanation. So yes, this is about inequality, but specifically, I wanted to highlight gender inequality here. Now, gender inequality occurs when people are treated differently or given fewer opportunities just because they have a particular gender. In some parts of the world, girls are less likely to attend schools. Girls are less likely to uh, enter certain careers because there are a lot of discriminationary norms that are set for them. So when half a population of a country, that is women, face barriers, society loses very much valuable talent. It loses a lot of valuable empathy that women can add to a particular work, a lot of valuable ideas and potential that could actually and potentially make a particular workforce or a particular country a much better place to operate in. So a society grows stronger when everybody irrespective of their gender has equal opportunities, so that everybody can together work, lead, and contribute to a better work environment in general, right? So the last picture here, uh, I don't know why I chose this particular picture, but it basically represents climate change. Now, climate change refers to a long term change in the Earth's temperature and weather patterns, largely caused by human activities such as burning fossil fuels or deforestation. Now, these activities release greenhouse gases that trap heat in the atmosphere. So as temperatures rise, we see more extreme weather events such as floods and droughts and heat waves and stronger storms. Now, although it may seem like a very scientific issue, climate change, but it literally affects us every day, from our food prices to the weather outside our homes, etc. I don't know if anybody of you has heard, but have you heard that this year India is going to experience its biggest El Nino? Has anybody heard of it? Its biggest heat wave. If yes, give me a thumbs up. Yes, Sabir, do you want to say anything?
No, I was just saying that I've read about it.
Yeah,
It's gonna
exactly.
be a super El Nino and probably the biggest in
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
140 years.
Yeah, exactly. So you see, again, I don't want to scare any one of you with this term El Nino. Just understand that India is going to experience its biggest heat wave this year. Now, the thing about climate change is that it affects everybody. Now, I mean, I did read somewhere if that El Nino is going to rise from a particular ocean in the world, because the ocean, considering it's a large water body, it will rapidly heaten up, and all the heat will, like, through the winds, travel around the world. It's something like that. But the thing is, you see, if there's a particular problem in one part of the world, it is going to affect the entire globe in general. So that is why I think it's really essential for all of you to understand, to care about these problems, because they are affecting you, they will affect you, and especially we are the young generation. They are affecting us, and they will continue to affect us for, like, as long as we live on this earth. Before I begin with the next slide, do you have any problems here? If you do have any problems, please note them down. I will answer them at the end of the class. But have you all understood this? Just give me a quick thumbs up. All right. Vivan, if you have any question, please keep it for the end of the class. All right, now why do problems exist? I think this is going to be a much easier slide for you to understand. Now, problems exist because of these four main reasons. Firstly, is limited resources. Now, let's talk about what Asmi said, unequal distribution of resources. Now, the thing is that all resources around the world are very unequally distributed. Some countries are richer than others, some countries have more minerals than others, some countries have more money than others, and that is why some countries are able to maybe progress more, some countries are able to do better in a particular area. For example, let's take very basic examples from your geography lessons. Have you all heard about that Punjab is famous for growing wheat and rice?
Yes.
Yeah, so Punjab is known for
Yes.
growing wheat and rice. On the other hand, Gujarat is, I think, known for cotton, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so Gujarat is known for cotton. So you see, cotton.
Dokla.
I'm sorry, what? Okay, so as I was saying, a particular state can be famous for doing a particular thing. However, a particular state can be famous for, say, growing wheat or rice because they have the resources to grow that. However, on the other hand, a particular state can be famous for growing cotton because they have the resources to do that. So basically what this means is that all the people have different resources, all the people have different all the countries have different capabilities, and hence they live up to those capabilities by the means of the skills that they have. I hope you've all understood this point. Just give me a quick thumbs up. Okay, perfect. Just a minute, I think there's some network issues. Just a second. um Wait. Okay, yeah, so second is different interests. So I think we all can agree, as humans, as students, we all have varying interests about different things. We all like different things, we all are looking at different things, right? So are countries, so are the people around the world, right? Because so are like people around are like people around the world. Now, for example, I'll give you a very basic example. A factory say is polluting a lot, right? However, a factory is set up so that the person who has opened the factory can earn profits. On the other hand, if the government has opened something sustainable so that it can help people in the long run, it has opened with an incentive for public welfare so that the public can attain the best of it. So these are varying interests. I'll simplify it now. Okay, let's take the example of your school, right? Now the teachers over there teach you. The teachers are teaching for two main things. A, they like teaching, they want to have the best interests of students at heart. They would want to they would want to see all of their students succeed. But at the same time, teachers are there as employees, they are there as someone who would like to earn from whatever they're teaching to the students, right? Now, however, you as students go to school because you want to gain knowledge, you want to become a better person, you want to become a better person in the future who has all this knowledge, who has all these skills that can be applied to, so that you can enter into a workforce that is actually very, very skillful. So you see, different groups of people have different interests, and hence it is very important that everyone understands everybody's interests so that nobody faces any sort of problem. Third is lack of awareness. I think this is very prevalent in our country. A lot of people don't even know that there's a particular problem that is happening to them, or there's a particular problem that is existing. Now let me take a very basic example. I take an example of this course only. The main reason I started this economic and civic curriculum here at Project Osari was that a lot of you know that inequality exists, that discrimination exists, that climate change exists, but you don't know why do they exist, and b, you do not know what your role as a student is, so that you can reverse these problems and play your part as students in it. And I think it's really important for you to understand, be aware of the kind of problems that you are facing, so that you can play your small part as students in it. Because as students, we can literally not spend crores or lakhs of rupees to build something that can curb pollution, but what we can do is that we can make other people aware about these problems, we can talk about these problems, right? And fourth is poor governance. Now I would really like you all to please, if you're writing, please star this point, because we're going to discuss about this particular point at length tomorrow, and I don't really want to waste my time for this session. So make sure that we're going to discuss this point in tomorrow's session. But a general idea, poor governance means that the government of that country is not doing the best work, because of which a lot of problems exist, and that is really true in a lot of countries around the world. Now, this is the last slide of this session. I think we all can agree that all the problems we see around us are connected, right? I think we discussed all of the connection or the interconnectedness of problems was actually discussed by a lot of you. For example, when I was explaining you about this slide, and populous countries, extreme poverty, ASME actually did a great job in connecting population to extreme poverty, because she said there are there's an unequal distribution of resources, because of which some people get more than others, etc., and hence it leads to poverty. Again, I need you all to understand that all problems you see around the world are connected. For example, if there's climate change, it is going to affect the crops, it is going to affect the weather of a place, because of which there's going to be some sort of crop failure. Because there's going to be a certain sort of crop failure, there is likely to be less food for the people, and if there's less food, that means the prices at which food is being sold is going to be higher. If the prices at which the food is going to be sold is higher, that means not a lot of people can afford that particular food, because of which it might mean that not a lot of people get basic nutrition, and that is likely to lead to more poverty. An easier example, for example, let's take gender inequality, right? When girls receive less education, it means fewer women enter the workforce, that is, fewer women get jobs. Then that leads to lower family income, because again, in today's world, we live in a world where there's a lot of there's a lot of expensive things around the world, and it is really difficult to sustain a household with just one earning hand. Hence, if fewer women enter the workforce, it means that there's going to be lower family income, and hence there's going to be there's going to be very less growth in terms of economic and financial gain for a particular family. Now, why am I even like spending so much time explaining you as to why problems are connected? Because this is going to be used in your speeches tomorrow. Understand that on Saturdays we're going to do all the theoretical framework building, on Sundays we're going to write the speeches ourselves. I need you to understand that whenever you are thinking about problems, please think about problems from a common man's perspective. If climate change is happening, how is it affecting you? Did you ever see your parents talking about climate change and how it's affecting their work? Is it affecting the house help at your home? Is it affecting your mother who's maybe cooking in the kitchen? Is it affecting the grocery list that your parents are bringing? Because these are genuine real problems that you must understand. All right, now this connection that I've made here, please try to understand that this connection is very essential for you to write good speeches. Don't worry, I'll be explaining as to how you can use this to the best of its ability in tomorrow's session. this brings us to the end of this session. Now I'll be stop presenting my screen as well as stop recording.